In the case of a felony, such as attempted grand theft or conspiracy, it's a felony offense which is punishable by the penal code. A person may get from 1 to 5 years in the state penitentiary.
Well, what happens in cases where the victims are physically injured by the quack treatment?
In such a case as that, the courts may impose a prison sentence. However, many of these cases end up as a misdemeanor. The actual physical damage to the individual has nothing to do many times with the stiffness of the sentence.
Are there similar codes in other states?
Yes, there are.
And where is the medical charlatan most prevalent in this country?
They're most prevalent wherever, in whatever state, there are retired or elderly people. The quacks seem to follow such elderly people like camp followers.
That's easy marks, huh?
Yes.
You have some pictures that you brought with you, Grant. I'd like to have you explain them.
Yes, this particular picture here is the picture of a young woman who used the black external cancer salve. This caused an ulceration on the skin as a result of the croton oil being contained in the salve. The second picture here of the man in which the same salve was used on his upper lip. You can see the crater that was left. The quack in this case told the party that he probably had a cancer of the lower part of the brain or the back of the neck. You can see from the side pose that the terrible destructiveness of the use of this salve. It completely sloughed away practically down to the bone.
Has the use of this cancer salve resulted in death?
Yes, in several instances.
And what happened to the man who was responsible for these deaths, Grant?
He served 10 months in jail and is out free today.
What's the average penalty imposed by the courts on quacks like this?
It is a simple misdemeanor. A person may get as little as $25 fine or may receive 6 months in jail.
But what you're saying is that you're not usually able to get them behind bars, are you?
That's correct.
I'd like you to answer a question for me. What's the penalty under the law for mixing hamburger with horse meat?
It's a felony offense, punishable 1 to 3 years in the state penitentiary and up to $5,000 fine.
And yet most quacks are men who are potential killers and they get off with a fine or just a probation.
Yes, or they're charged with a misdemeanor in most cases.
Well, you certainly collected a mountain of evidence against that one man who was responsible for the pictures you showed us.
Yes, and it wasn't easy. Most of the people that we talked to were extremely reluctant to even give us a statement. They were entirely uncooperative.
Well, what do you feel that your department and other pure food and drug departments across the country need the most in the fight against the medical quack?
Well, first of all, I think trained personnel is the #1 requisite. We have only 33 such personnel in this state.
And is it generally true that other states are short-handed?
Yes, I believe that to be true.
And what else do you think you need in the fight?
Well, I think one of the prime needs is the cooperation by the public to channel certain information to our office or to the agency.
I see. There are as many different types of quack operations as there are quacks. Mr. Leake has brought some of the devices and the drugs that his office has confiscated. I'd like you to see them now.
Mr. Coates, this is one of the simpler electrical devices which the Bureau has seized in recent years. The operator in this case would merely dial the particular illness which he is treating. It would then cause the plate here to light up, resulting in him dispensing a combination of cornstarch, sugar pills, and whatnot.
In other words, you take one of the sugar pills and you can cure sexual impotency, sinus, tooth decay, fatigue, gas, and heartburn.
Oh, there's no question about it.
And what is this?
Well, turn it on and I'll show you how it works. This is an ozone generator. You see here a series of tubes filled with mercury and neon. You have a transformer here in the box. high voltage is passed through these tubes, creating ozone gas. Not only does it create ozone, but it produces oxides of nitrogen, which is 10 times more toxic than carbon monoxide. An estimated $500,000 worth of these devices were sold all over the United States as a cure for heart disease, kidney ailments, high blood pressure, and many other diseases.
So turn it off before we both die, huh?
Might be a good idea. Here we have a simple device which was known as the electronically active steel ball bearing. This device was supposed to be energized with 81,000 volts of electricity. The vendor represented to a Navy chief's wife in San Diego that he could permanently arrest any pain that she might have by merely passing this over the person's body. He was prosecuted in San Diego Municipal Court and was given 30 days in the county jail. Next, we have the case of the Magic Spike. This device was manufactured back in Illinois. Thousands of these devices were sold all over the United States. It is supposed to be radioactive. The patient in this case would merely place it on their body adjacent to the ailing part, and the radioactivity coming off of this tube was supposed to cure all types of ailments. Incidentally, this sold for from $300 to $2,300, depending upon the size model that you wanted. Paul, this converted table model radio that you see here is known as the oscilloclast. Many hundreds of these were sold in the Northern California area. The patients suffering from such diseases as cancer, kidney ailments, would merely turn the machine on and then would place this plate to the affected area in the body. The manufacturer of the device and the sales agent were charged with a conspiracy. However, this penalty was later reduced to a misdemeanor. The salesman paid a $200 fine, and the manufacturer got off scot-free.
And what is this?
Next, we have we might call it a highball manufacturer, that is, radioactively so. This device was attempted to be sold in Southern California for $10,000. It was supposed to contain approximately $8,000 worth of radium alone. Actual analysis by laboratory showed that it contained $1.30 worth of radium. A person suffering from such illnesses as heart disease, kidney ailments, high blood pressure, would merely drink 6 to 8 glasses of this water a day, and a cure of such ailments was positive. The 2 distributors in this area that were prosecuted were charged with a conspiracy to falsely advertise a device. They were granted 3 years probation in San Diego Superior Court.
And this was manufactured, I see, in New York City.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, Grant, I want to thank you very much for your cooperation tonight, and I hope we were able to do some good.
Thank you, Mr. Coates.